Guys, good morning. There really is nothing better than a hot cup of something sitting out on the porch when it's raining outside. It's very relaxing, very soothing. Today I've got a cup of tea. I have been trying to switch from coffee to tea, and I'm doing okay with it so far. I've been having some belly issues and stuff with the coffee. It kind of hurts my belly after I drink it, and so I'm going with teas now. For the last several years, I've been dabbling in some teas, and for medicinal purposes, I make tea blends and give some, sell some, and use some. My daughter really likes my female blend, which helps around that certain time of the month, and then also sore throat tea that I make really helps. But I am been working on a energy boosting blend that doesn't have a lot of caffeine and is very sensitive to the belly, and also has anti-inflammatory properties, which will help the belly as well as any other inflammation that you have in your body. So once I finish this, we'll go in and we'll make up a batch of tea. So we're going to talk about teas, and we're going to make some teas. Great use for your jars with chips in them or cracks in them, because you're going to be storing a dry good in here. Get these little plastic lids that fit on, and they'll keep your teas good and fresh for many months. You can also purchase, especially if you're going to sell teas or give them away as gifts, you can purchase some of these tea tins that keep them fresh longer. This one got stuck on there, didn't it? There. So it's just an aluminum tin, very lightweight. This is just an extra seal, and you've seen how good it worked. You just push that in there and then put the lid on top of that. So these keep it fresh as well for many months. So let's talk about the blends that we're going to do. There are a few blends that I have put together, and they taste good and they seem to work for us. And one of them is what I call the Deep Nourishing Blend for Female Body. So this one is for people who have difficult times of the month, and this helps with cramping, excessive bleeding, things like that. It just nourishes the body and helps you feel better during that time. Then another one that I'm going to make today is my energizing tea, and I want to show you kind of how the process is as I go through it. I use a lot of the herbs that I grow myself, and I dehydrate these, and then I label them on top. I reuse my lids from other things that didn't create a smell. You don't want to reuse your pickle lids, but something like apple butter or something like that, you can reuse the lids here, because we're not canning them, we're not sealing them. It's just gonna keep the dirt and air out. Also, another good way to use lids is your Parmesan cheese that you get in the tin or in the jar with the pour spouts and stuff. They fit your mason jars really well. So all of these I have grown. So I've got some red clover that I got out of the fields, some purple dead nettle. Henbit is very comparable to the properties that this will help you with, but it is a little bit of a different plant. Dandelion, especially right now, is in full force. Dandelion not only heals your ground, but it will help heal you. It's a very powerful anti-inflammatory, diuretic, antihistamine. It's a very very powerful plant, and we're going to be using the flowers and the leaves. I don't have any of the roots roasted and dehydrated, but I do have the leaves. And I just pull them off and chop them up and dehydrate them on a flat surface dehydrator, like $40 at the local store. You don't need anything fancy. You can dehydrate your leaves in a very low oven, or you can just put them on a screen and hang them in a dry area, like in your basement or something like that, if your basement's dry. I have some blends that I already have here. This one is one of my morning teas. It has stinging nettle in it. It has St. John's wort. St. John's wort is known for improving your mood. But some of these herbs and things like that you need to research and you need to learn about, especially if you are on antidepressants or any other medicines that's been prescribed to you, because like St. John's wort does potentiate the effects of antidepressants. That sounds like a good thing, but it's probably not. Like stinging nettle helps add iron to your body, so it is a blood builder. It is known that your life and your health is in your blood, so you want good, healthy blood and plenty of it. So your stinging nettle is a blood builder. Daminia is a mood enhancer, and spearmint is not only for taste, it tastes really well, but it is a diuretic, and it also helps with menstrual cramps as well, or any other cramps that you have in your body. We have some, mine are black raspberry leaves. You can use red raspberry leaves, wild raspberry leaves, domestic, whatever. Just make sure that they are raspberries, because they have a lot of, they help balance the female hormones. So if you are going, if you're having your weekly cycle or your monthly cycles, or you're going through menopause, things like that, where you need to balance your hormones a little bit better, and decrease some of the symptoms that you might be having. So black raspberry leaves are great for that, and I get these off my own plants. And then calendula, this is one of my favorite plants or herbs. It has a very nice fruity taste. It's almost citrusy kind of tasting. But this is a powerhouse of a plant. Not only does it attract bugs off of your vegetables that you're growing out in the garden, but it is antimicrobial, which means it works kind of like an antibiotic or an antiviral. It helps soothe the throat. It helps with cramps. It's a diuretic. It helps remove toxins from the body. It does all kinds of great things, and it tastes really good. So I use this in a lot of my blends. I feel like no matter what you're going through, if you're just having a normal life and you're a good, healthy person, you could use some toxin removal in your life. Or if you are a high-stressed person, get sick all the time, then add this to your daily routine, and I bet it's going to help you feel better. This here, I grow here. It makes a beautiful plant. It attracts the bees. It feeds the bees. So if you have beehives, or your neighbor does, then you could really be helping out the honey production with calendula. And it's a very beautiful plant. You can put it out in your flower beds, and it's just, it's a really nice plant. So the ones that I don't grow yet, because I'm just starting out, about 2 years ago I started planting teas around the house. But before that, I would just buy my individual teas and make my own blends. And let me show you my case. So this here is my box of herbs. This is what I make everything out of, just about. Things like marshmallow root. I do have marshmallow now on the farm. I have not harvested any roots because my plants aren't big enough, but I did harvest the leaves and the flowers last year. This is a very good for lung health, and if you have a cough, cold, or runny nose, it helps thins out your mucus, so it's easier to cough things up or thin out your sinuses if you're having allergies or things like that. Blessed thistle is the mature woman's friend. This really helps calm things like hot flashes, irritability, skin redness, things like that. You can make a lot of these. You can not only make as teas, you can add fresh to your salads and eat them that way, or you can make what I call like teas for like put it in a bowl and let it steep for a good long time, and then you can put a rag in there and put things like blessed thistle, like you can make an eye wrap, and it really helps with the redness and things like that across your face. Things like comfrey that you can't ingest, you can make the tea in a bowl, like I said, and then put a rag in there, heat it up, and put it on a sore spot on your body, like a sore back or a sore ankle if you sprained your ankle or something like that. And it will help with the pain. Comfrey is a pain reliever. So we got that. We got horsetail. Horsetail is also very beneficial for the mature woman. It helps with menopausal symptoms as well. I always keep ginger slices around. These are dehydrated and also candied. So it makes them taste a little bit less, because ginger is like hot tasting, like peppery tasting, with a citrusy kick to it. The sugar kind of helps with that. If you're feeling nauseated, especially like moms to be and things like that, chewing on a ginger slice, either fresh or candied, can help with that. If you're like driving and you get some motion sickness or something, or if you've got a viral bug or something like that, then that can help reduce the nausea. It also is a good tea blend. You can take scissors or knives and chop it up real fine, put it in your tea blends and steep it, and it's real soothing to the throat if you've got a sore throat. So as you can see, we've got all kinds: elderflower, anise, eucalyptus, burdock. Burdock is kookaburra. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that that plant had a purpose, but it does. Cough, colds, and runny noses. Lavender flowers is very soothing. And then I also have hibiscus. So if you have a tea blend that tastes too earthy, too much like you just brewed grass, you can add a pinch of hibiscus, or you can get these tea bags at like your local Mennonite store or something like that, or online. You can find them online as well. And then I throw that in my tea blend as well. When I'm steeping it, I throw the bags in. If I have hibiscus, which I do somewheres, then I'll throw in, like maybe a half a cup in my jar, and that gives it a really fruity flavor, and it makes it taste better. Plus, hibiscus has a lot of its own properties, including helping with viral issues viral symptoms that you're having. So, as you can see, we do a lot of teas for healing, and I got oolong tea too. You can make kombucha with this type of tea. You brew this type of tea, however much you need to make a batch of kombucha, and then you ferment this tea after you brew it. So there's all kinds of things. There's a whole world of herbs. Just about everything that grows has a purpose. And I think it was Aristotle that said, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And that includes teas. So let's go ahead and get started with what we're going to be doing today. Okay. These are very inexpensive as well. Like this bag here of the horsetail is $1.70. You know, if you don't grow it yourself, you know, if you grow it, it's after a while it becomes basically free. But I don't think there's anything in here over $3 per bag. This is probably the closest. This is $2.89, and this will last probably a year. So you can introduce yourself to a few blends and things like that, and not spend a whole bunch of money doing so. So what we are going to do today is my female tea. So we are going to do the raspberry leaves. So what I do when I'm doing a tea, this is a 4-cup jar. I'm going to make 1 jar. So I'm going to put all my ingredients over here, and I usually do about equal parts, unless there is something specific that I'm wanting out of that tea. If I'm wanting like, you know, an estrogen bumper, or if I'm wanting to do lymph detox, then, you know, I will add more of that. Maybe put 2 parts of this to 1 part of the other things. But pretty much my basic go-to is 1 part of each thing for however many cups that I'm doing. So I'm doing 4 cups of the deep nourishing blend for the female body, and it's going to be red raspberry leaves, stinging nettle, the blood builder, red clover, and I have all these written down, especially my favorite ones. That's another thing I want to tell you about. Have you a tea resource? So this here helps me with my tea blends. Put there, right there. What I like about this book is it starts out and it just gives you like a little rundown of the history of teas and how long they've been in use, what to use them for. So for instance, like you can use them for daytime, nighttime, and any good time tea. So anytime you need a bright and early tea to start your day, a mid-morning boost, lunch teas that are light and refreshing, mid-afternoon lifts that gives you a little bit more energy to get through your day, teas for the evening meals, and then when you want to calm down for the night, then you have quiet time tea. So I really like how they help you figure out when and how to use teas. Then there is also my recipe starts, is what I call it. So for like immunity right here, you can see all the different teas that are good for boosting your immune system. Or if you have intestinal issues or specific issues, then you can use these kinds of teas and make a blend out of this. If you have inflammation, then you will want to start with these right here. Now white willow right there can potentially thin out your blood, so you want to use that one with caution. And if you are on blood thinners, you might want to ask your doctor about that. Like I said, you know, you can use these as refreshing teas, or you can use these as medicinal teas. If you're going for the medicinal uses, then you might want to collaborate with your doctor. It tells you like all about each herb that it has in here, like calendula here, like how it got started, when it was started to use it, that you can use it for menopause, menstruation, pelvic infections, skin washes, used through the ages. You can treat different issues here that you might be dealing with. It fights fever blisters and things like that. And the beneficial part of the plant is the flower, so that's why I use the flower petals. You can use the whole flower head, but I like the petals the best. And then like dandelion. Everybody's got dandelion growing right now, whether you want it or not. Not only does it heal the land, like I had mentioned before, it helps loosen up your soil, aerate your soil, and it also removes toxins from your soil. But it also has plenty of vitamins in it, like A, B, C, D, iron, and lots of potassium. Potassium is a diuretic. It removes water and inflammation from your body that you have an excess of. You can use the leaves, you can use the roots. It can help with managing weight and things like that, as it keeps the inflammation down. To be out in the woods or in your yard or whatever foraging, you might want to get yourself a good foraging book. This is the one I use here. I also have an app on my phone that I can take a picture of it when I'm out in the field, and it'll tell me what that app thinks it is. Then I'll come home and compare it to this book here. And just like stinging nettle here, it tells you like where all it grows. Then it also tells you what it looks like, if it has any lookalikes, because a lot of these plants have a lookalike, and some of those lookalikes are not beneficial. Some of them are toxins, so you want to make sure that you are identifying your plants correctly. It tells you how to harvest and eat it, any medicinal usage, a recipe or two, and also, like I said, the warnings. Like stinging nettles have hairs on them that can cause some irritation, so use gloves. If you dehydrate it and put it in your tea, they're no longer there. So good resources, good identification, good recipes will give you a nice healthy tea. Okay, so where are we at? So we are on red raspberry leaf, stinging nettle, red clover, lemon balm. I have lemon balm here. Here it is, lemon balm, and peppermint. And I did not save enough peppermint. I'm out, but I have it in here. Spearmint is also a substitute, or mountain mint. And that is a really nice mint. So if you all want to grow mint and you don't want it to take over your yard or your flower bed, mountain mint is a bush, and it stays in a bush, and it's easy to control. Like regular peppermint and spearmint, they send out them underground shoots, and then they pop up wherever they want. So they can be a little bit difficult. I let it grow. If it comes out of the flower bed or whatever, I just mow it down with the yard, and it makes a nice refreshing smell outside too when you mow it. Right here. So we are going to do, when you use a mint, you want to go light on the mint. If not, you will have a very minty tea. If that's what you like, then use it at equal parts. But I am going to do, usually I eyeball it, but today I'm going to measure it out because I want it to fit in a 4-cup thing. So we have a 1/2 cup of peppermint. Thereabouts. Okay. And then the red clover, we are going to do a cup. This is a very fruity, nice tasting herb as well. The flower of it is. I'm going to do the stinging nettle because that is important. I'm going to do a cup of the stinging nettle. Lemon balm is a very powerful tasting herb as well. It does have a citrusy taste to it. Very earthy, but so we're going to use a 1/2 cup of that, and that's going to make 3 cups now. We got the 1/2 cup of the peppermint, a 1/2 cup of this, 1 cup of the stinging nettle, and 1 cup of the red clover. So that's 3 cups. And then we're going to do a cup of the black raspberry leaves because hormone balancing is what we're going for here. Okay, so I'll put a full cup in there. So that is our 4 cups. So I just take a dry spoon and give it a nice blend. if you dehydrate yours without chopping it up and putting it in a jar, if you dehydrate it whole, you may want to run this blend through a food processor to kind of get it chopped up and ready for either your tea balls, or I use, it's a milk frother is what it is. It's a Ninja milk frother, but it has, let me show you. It has this, you see that screen in there? So it keeps all the herbs down here. And then when I go to pour it off, I can just push that down. And you might get a little bit of herbs in there, but you know, whatever. But it keeps the majority of them down. Because when I drink tea, I like to drink a couple of cups. You can also, if you don't want to drink it hot, like it's summertime or something, you can steep enough for about 4 cups, and then thin it out with good cold water and have it as a refreshing, tasty iced tea as well. When I brew this like this, sometimes I'll add a pinch of stevia, not the stuff you get in the grocery store. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So that is what I'm talking about, the stevia leaf itself. So stevia is part of the mint family, but it has a sweet, a very concentrated sweet taste to it. Many people don't like it because they get a bitter taste, but what they're doing is they're putting way too much into the recipe or the drink or whatever, and because this is, I think it's either like 50 times sweeter than sugar, or it's 100 times sweeter than sugar. I'll have to look that up. But you just need like a few leaves for like a few of these tiny chopped up leaves in this much water, and it'll go a couple of times. You can also take this and make an extract. I may do that later on and show you how to make an extract, because you can make a concentrated extract out of this much stevia, and you can process it 4 times. So there's enough sugar in there, or enough sweetener in there, that you know you can boil it and steep it, drain it off, boil it and steep it again, drain that off, and you know, make 4 batches out of just this much here. And this is $3 for this bag. It was a little bit more full because I've been using it all winter. But like I said, just a few leaves in for, you know, a cup or 2 of tea, and that's all you need. And it does give it a nice sweet taste. It's 0 calories. It causes 0 inflammation. So if you are needing that, needing a sweetener that has that 0 calorie offer, there you go. It is very hard to start. When you order your seeds, you're going to get just a few seeds per pack, where you're used to getting like hundreds of seeds in the bottom of the pack for like $3 or something like that, and you get like 150 seeds in the bottom, or several hundred seeds. You're going to get about 10 seeds, because it is a difficult plant to start. You want it in partial shade. You want the ground to be a little bit damp but not soggy. Yeah, I do not put it in my blends. I only put it in when I steep it. So let's get this nice and stirred up. Okay. We're going to put it in our jar. Always label your jars, because if you don't, you won't remember, and a lot of this stuff looks alike after you dehydrate it. You know, it all becomes a dried green leaf, just about. give it a nice little blend. And there you go. This will probably last, if you use it every month during that week, it'll probably last 6-7 months. So you don't have to do this very often, which is one thing I like. And it's easy to store. Just put it in Tupperware so you know you don't get like bugs or mice or something like that in there. You never know when they're going to invade. So another blend that I use, and I'm almost out of, this is my nighttime blend. And I label it with what I have in there if I don't put the recipe down. So I don't have the recipe down, so I put it right here. So I have equal parts of chamomile, peppermint, lemon balm, stinging nettle, calendula, mallow, and hibiscus. And it makes a very lovely nighttime tea. When I first got into teas, I used a chamomile tea, like one that you get at the store. I think it was chamomile and ginger. It was very nice tasting, but it worked so well that I was like, wow, you know, that's really impressive that a tea can make you feel that sleepy. So that's what got me started. Okay, so an energizing tea. So my recipe here is tulsi, lemon balm, calendula, hibiscus, and rose petals. I am out of rose petals, but I have rose hips, which are the little berry that you find on rose plants, rose bushes. So I will not put this in here. I will use this when I go to process my tea. I'll just take one of these out, put it in my water. If you don't have, you can add in something else that you might want the benefits of. I use lemon balm, but we already got lemon balm in the recipe, so I'll just omit that one. And it's still going to make a nice morning time tea. So this one here, I'm going to do a 4-cup batch again. So we are going to do, this is lemon balm here. So we're going to do a cup of lemon balm. A cup of calendula. Now calendula comes out, oh, I wish you could smell it. Oh, it smells so good. It comes out pretty clumpy because it's long pieces. And I just dehydrate the flowers whole and then pull the petals off. It's time consuming, but it's well worth it. Okay, so we're gonna put a cup in here. These are not exact measurements. You can eyeball this, you know, equal parts of this and that and the other. So calendula, hibiscus. Here's my hibiscus flowers. I bought these from Frontier Co-op. You can get a lot of herbs for a little bit of money. And we are going to put a 1/2 cup of this in. Okay. Very nice and fruity tea. And the rose petals, and like I said, I'm going to do the rose hips when I make the tea. So, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3. We need another cup. So I want something. So I have issues with inflammation. So I'm going to go in here and look up my inflammation. Calendula, licorice, marshmallow. I've got marshmallow. So let's use marshmallow tea instead of the tulsi. So marshmallow. Marshmallow is a very strong herb, so you may want to add a lot of flavor in with marshmallow. So like the calendula and the hibiscus are very, very fruity, very flavorful. So I feel that this is going to be a good blend. You can also smell it, and it smells very fruity. So that gives you a good indication of what it's going to taste like. Okay, so this is going to be my morning tea. I'm going to make some to take with me. If I'm going someplace, like camping or something like that, and I want something fruity, or have my morning tea there, Anytime you have hibiscus in your blend, give your jar a shake before you open it, because the hibiscus are kind of heavy and they'll sink to the bottom. It's a very pretty tea. All the yellows and the burgundies and the greens. There we go. Look how pretty that is. So this is going to be my morning tea, my morning energizing tea. That is a serious lid. There. All ready to go. So another thing that you can do for your teas is, like anytime you have like any kind of oranges or lemons, you can zest these lemons and dehydrate that, let it dry out good, and save that and put it in your tea blends, and it gives it that extra vitamin C that they have in their skins, and also the flavor. You do want to wash these really, really well. I use an actual little scrubby brush to wash these because of anything that they might have come in contact with, getting to the grocery stores, things like that. So this is another option to increase your tea collection. So I hope you've learned something, and I hope you give the teas a try and let me know how they work for you.